your host, and I'd like to warmly welcome you to The God Factor. This is an interactive show that brings to you distinguished guests who help inspire and motivate us as they recount moments in their lives where they felt the presence of God and influence. For today's guest, we have Mr. Obed Kofi Pabi. Mr. Pabi, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
And how has your day been?
Yes, it's been wonderful.
We thank
Been
God.
wonderful.
Thank God. So, how has your life been since childhood, growing up?
Oh, my life since childhood hasn't been bad. Unlike others, I was born into a Christian home.
Okay.
So my stepfather was a pastor in a different denomination.
Oh, okay.
And so you could imagine the life of a pastor's son. I mean, my house, in the house, we're all Christians. So I was born into Christian, being a Christian.
Okay.
So, yes, that's how my infancy started.
So from childhood, you were doing morning devotion and those things?
For some reason, my dad was not the person who was always in the house early mornings.
Oh, okay.
So we're not doing morning devotions. But trust me, when it is church time, when we are supposed to go to church, nobody stays home.
Yeah, I can.
Nobody stays home. And you don't do things you are not supposed to do as a Christian.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to live your life as a pastor's son.
That pressure was there from the beginning.
It was there.
Pastor's children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was there. So, as I said, my life right from the beginning was, and my mom, my family, my mom's side, in fact, everybody around me was a Christian, and they didn't joke, in my family, we didn't joke with our Christian life.
Okay.
And so I think that had an impact on me growing up. So growing up, it was Christian stuff.
Were you the only child?
No, I were two.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so we were two.
Boy
Myself and then my younger brother.
Brother.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, aside being pressured or let's say being watched at home, in school, was it different or you were the same person?
I was the same person. You see, for some reason, people in school knew that I was the lousy type. I mean, I was always everywhere in school.
Yeah.
And they knew that I was from a Christian home. My father was a Christian. And so when there are certain things going on, they didn't expect me to be part of those things. And that has been, that was the life I was living in school. There were certain things you will not find me. It even affected me in terms of sports. I had never participated in sports because those times when they go for sports on Fridays, we were getting close to Sabbath. So you have to run and go home and help your mom prepare for the Sabbath. Okay. You get it? So there were certain things because of my
religious background.
Exactly, you are not expected to do it. And school, they knew it. Yeah. They knew it in school, so you can't afford to disappoint.
So you could say there are some advantages and disadvantages of being brought in a Christian home.
Yes. There are. Okay. You know, I sometimes say I can't imagine myself not being in a Christian home before, because I don't know, but I just can't think myself not born in a Christian home, living your life in a certain way and then coming back to Christ. What if you didn't come? You get a point. Yeah. Yes, so I am always thankful for God putting me in such situation that I didn't go out before coming in. Yes.
Unfortunately, not everyone has that experience.
Exactly.
Well, so how long have you been working with the Southern Ghana Union Conference?
Okay, so I started working with the church from 2017. I was a volunteer in one of the fields. Okay. So I worked there for 3 years. From 2017, I think I left in 2020 or 2019 before I came here in 2021. So I've been here at the Southern Ghana Union Conference from 2021. Okay. But I joined the church, the workforce of the church in 2017.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you think being born in a Christian household to working for the church, everything in your life has been rosy dandy, good, no bad experiences?
No. You know, there are certain points in time where in your life where you really experience God, even though you are a Christian, even though you were born into a Christian home. There is that point in your life where you really feel that this is the time I've really got to know God.
Yes.
Even though I was born into a Christian home, this is the time I've got to know God. This is the time I'm knowing God for myself.
Okay, but before we get that, can you tell us the lowest point of your life where you felt like God has, should I say, rejected you or pulled away from you? Maybe you're going through some crisis and you're like, oh God, this is where I need you now. Like, show yourself, do something. Like you're expecting him to do something, but he's not doing, and you begin to doubt. Has there ever been a point?
Yes. There have been. You know, from school, from primary school, my parents were taking care of me, secondary school to the university days. Then after university, I did national service. Let me say that my Christian home, I mentioned Sabbath, but it wasn't the Seventh-day Adventist church. I didn't start with the Seventh-day. My stepfather wasn't the pastor in the Seventh-day Adventist church.
Oh, okay.
It's a Saturday church, but not a Seventh-day Adventist church. So I got to know about the Seventh-day Adventist church in SHS when I was leaving SHS. So I got baptized when I got to the university.
Oh, okay.
So I got to know all these things about Sabbath, things we were not supposed to do. So right from university, I made up my mind that I was really going to keep the Sabbath as I'm supposed to.
Okay.
So after school, I did my national service. But where I had my national service was a private organization. And issues of working on the Sabbath was there. So after national service, even though the opportunity for me to continue with the organization was there, I opted to leave because of Sabbath issues. And in my mind, I thought because I was making that decision for God, I would easily get a job after that. I left there without knowing where I was going. But I came to sit home, not getting a job. Not getting a job. And I think those times were low times for me. Even after volunteering in 2017 for the church, there was a point in time where I had to leave and come home again. And that is where that was the lowest point. I really thought God has neglected me.
I can imagine how you feel, because I could say I've been in that position before. You'd ask yourself, maybe at what point in life are you in? Where are you heading to?
Exactly.
Everybody's expecting you to come up with something.
So at that point, I thought really, in fact, I thought I made a wrong choice. Sometimes I thought, just around that time, I thought, why didn't I keep the job? Because the people there were, the CEO was keen on having me in the organization, but I thought I had to leave. And this had to happen, and I was not getting a job. I was home, and those who know me know how I am passionate about church service and church things. So I am devoted. When it's about church, trust me, I will leave everything else and go. So I was just thinking about all these things, and then God allowing me to be in the house, and it's like, that was it. It was my lowest point.
So during that period, did you get any friends of yours who were saying maybe into Wakwasari-san, because of church you didn't do this, because of church, like Krife, those things?
Yeah. I am not a friendly type. I'm not the one who has so many close friends. Okay. Yes, even though I have a couple of them, they are not that close where you when you are going through struggles, you have to call on them. But the ones that I had were not the ones who would mock me. Okay. They were the ones I came into contact with whilst I was working for God. And so they were the ones who would motivate you. I had always said that if I didn't have those people in my life at that time, I didn't know where I would have gone. So there were a few people who would call me and say, God is with you where you are. God will come through for you. And even up to now, these people are still close to me. And I always want to thank God for their life, for God bringing them into my life during that time. And so that is it. I didn't have those kind of friends who say, you've worked for God, look at your... But sometimes it is my own conscience and the struggles of life that makes me think that really I need to be there and I'm not there, I'm here, God is disappointing me. Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, then it's very important to surround yourself with good and Christian friends who would help encourage you in times where you are down and you need some encouragement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
So you were saying there was a point where you felt that God was actually working in your life.
Yes.
So can you please tell us about that?
Again, still on the working situation. Okay. Now, when I left the conference I used to work and I came home, I wasn't having a job.
Okay.
I was just home. I remember that very day. I mean, that day, that's, I think, the turning point for me. I came to Accra. I printed roughly about 20 applications. I mean, 20 copies of my CV and then application letters. Okay. Addressed them to certain companies I knew. So I came to Accra and distributed it. I just walked to this company. I remember there were 2 companies I didn't know about. When I was distributing it, I saw them. So I just rushed to a printing, those who do printing, and changed the address and typed the address there and sent the letter to the office. So I had gone around and distributed, and I was going back home. I was going back home from Accra, and then when I got to where I work currently, the union, I mean, just around the police headquarters, something clocked my mind that, why don't you take a copy of your CV to the union? And at the point, the copies were finished. The hard copies were finished, so I only had a soft copy. So I sent a soft copy to the executive secretary, the HR of the union, I mean the executive secretary. And then he replied my email just right there and then and told me that they didn't have a vacancy, but he knows of a conference that was looking for a secretary. And so that was where I got to realize that there was a vacancy there. Before I could get home, I had calls from 4 different pastors from that conference who called me and said, this is a job vacancy, and we think that from your work experience and where you've been, you can be the right person to do this job. So apply it. Okay. And then I got home. When I settled home to a WhatsApp group that we were in, it's a youth group of the district I was in then. Somebody sent the vacancy application, the letter to the page. And when it goes to the page, virtually everybody on the page was saying, no, this job is for bed. And I think that was where God was telling me, you know what, I still want you to work with my church. I want you to work for the church. And the following day, I just woke up and then wrote application, sent it to the conference. And then
that's a very nice story.
Yes.
Well, so when the vacancy when it was put on the platform, is it that the course you studied in university or what course did you study in the university?
I did information studies.
Okay, okay. So that was the reason why you were fit for the role?
Yes, and people on the page knew that I have worked with one of the conferences as a volunteer. So they knew I had a background to the office they are requiring. Just the same, I want to do the same job. Yes. So they knew I had those experience to go for that job.
Okay.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
So during your low times, sometimes aside being like, oh God, why God this, but what was the one thing that motivated you? What was the one thing that you'd go to for solitude? It could be a Bible verse, it could be a song, hymnal, something. Something inspirational.
There are 3 things, As I said, when you go through the low times, the people you surround yourself with are very important. Aside me praying to God, one of the those few people who give me motivation. I'm not the type I don't easily take solace in songs, even though I like songs. But there are few people who have come to meet in life that when I am down or I am in trouble, I just feel like calling those people. Because no matter what, it's not about what they give me or what they do to me, but what they tell me. It keeps me on my toes, and it keeps me not to walk away from God.
So yours is more like a words of inspiration.
Exactly.
Kind of, okay.
Exactly. But one song that I like the most, this song was a song that got me into the church. I mean, okay. I followed a couple of friends to church and they sang that song in the church. At the time, I had not heard of harmony, I mean, singing in parts. Yes. But they sang that song in parts and it was very pleasing to my ear.
What song?
Until then.
Okay.
And that song has been my song, I mean, my favorite song when I entered the church. And, yes. But when it comes to when I get to my low times, for me, it is about speaking to certain people. Because I know that those people, when I speak to them, they are going to tell me words that are encouraging from scripture. Okay. Yes.
It was very lovely talking to you, Mr. Obed Pabi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Very much appreciate you on our show.
Thank you so much for
having me.
And
I know our viewers have also picked a lot of points or motivational things to help inspire them from this short conversation we've had. Now, if you are to recommend God to someone who has been in your situation, what would you say to that person?
I will repeat and repeat again. The friends you surround yourself with. The friends you see, sometimes we want to have friends who are to chill with, who have, I mean, who talk about so many things. But trust me, if you don't select the right friends, when you get down to that time where you need people to support you, that is where you realize that you've not made the right choices. Yeah. And so even before you go to that extent, that time of situation in your life, I will advise everybody, be careful about the friends you surround yourself with. There should be friends who are godly, friends who can encourage you, not only those who call you up for clubs or call you up for parties and programs. Those who encourage you, those who talk Christ to you, so that whenever you are in that tight corner, if it's not about taking scripture to read, it's not about praying, you know that definitely when you call them, they are not going to give you bad advice. Yes. They are not going to push you to a place where you don't want to be. They will always keep you on your toes. And I thank God for those friends. And I want to recommend to every viewer watching me that wherever you are, just make sure that you surround yourself with friends, godly friends. So that when you get to that time that is supposed to be your low moments, those friends can help you come out of them low moments.
Okay. Lovely viewers, we've heard a lot from Mr. Pabi. There's a saying that, show me your friends and I'll show you your character. Now, we have to make sure to surround ourselves with godly friends who will help inspire and motivate us, not just the chilling type. Thank you, Mr. Pabi, and thank you, lovely viewers, for being with us today for our show. We'll catch you next time. Stay tuned.